Hello, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about some dirty basketball moves that you should watch out for. So there's a lot of dirty basketball players in the game of basketball, especially at the high school level, because what they're trying to do is to try and advance themselves to the next level and possibly taking out maybe some of the better players. But these players also exist in pro leagues like the NBA, and we have seen this even in finals games in the past. When you have a player who's going up for a shot, and somehow the defender's leg or their foot kind of drifts underneath the player who's shooting. What they're hoping for is for your foot to land on their foot so you can sprain your ankle, or worse, break your leg, things like that. So today I'm going to go over some dirty basketball moves, not that you can do, because I don't want you to do them. However, for you to watch out for. So the first move I'm going to talk to you about is the move I was just really briefly explaining, and that is the foot underneath of the shooting player. Now, as a defender, you should never try and close out and have your foot leading your underneath your body to go underneath the shooter's body. You really don't want to do that. For one, it causes injuries. I know sometimes there's mistakes and sometimes players, it just happens to do that. And some shooters will drift forward when they're shooting as well. And technically, if they make contact with you and they're drifting forward, technically it should be a foul on them, especially if their leg is out. However, at the same time, it's a very risky move to close out with your foot leading you, because you could be called for a foul or an intentional foul for trying to injure that player, even though it may be a mistake. While a lot of players will make it as basically a purposeful move for that you just want to get injured, or you want to injure other people. Now, the next move is actually kind of a fun move. I actually used to do it a lot in high school just because it used to piss off the other players. And when I was defending the low post, especially if there's taller, bigger players who were trying to post me up, this is the one thing I would do. I would get my knuckle and I would start digging it into their back. I'd get super close, they'd be right on my body, and I'd be digging it into their back. Now, of course, that's going to make them not want to be in the low post. They're going to be moving out farther. And a lot of post players, when they're out in this area, a lot of them at the high school level, at least up here in Canada 10, 15 years ago, they were not able to catch the ball and do maybe a fake and a one dribble move to the basket. And they were also not really able to take a shot from this distance. So this is what made me very successful defending the low post, even at my size, because I was able to get them away from the basket. Now, the double-edged sword on this is, first off, you need to be super close to them to kind of dig your knuckle into their back. But at the same time, you can't let the referee see it, because it is going to be a foul on you, and it could be an intentional foul on you as well. I've been called for that. However, at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because you could be digging it into their back. They could go and swipe your hand, and now it's a foul on them, which is even better. Now, the one thing that you could do if you are a post player and somebody's digging their knuckle into your back, the one thing that you could do is, because they're playing so close, if you have the ball or don't have the ball, it doesn't really matter. You can do the same move, and that is, if you have the ball, if they're digging their right knuckle into you, they're allowing the whole baseline open. So when you get that ball, or if you already have that ball and they're digging that knuckle into your back, all you have to do is just a quick spin move, and you're already at the basket. And now, because he's putting so much pressure on you, he's starting to go in, his momentum is pushing him in this direction while you're already at the basket. Now, if you don't have the ball and you've got this guy digging his knuckle into your back, sure, you can move out just a bit. But now, if the ball is on this side of the court, you can just do a quick spin move, seal him, get your hand up, and if your guards or the player who has the ball is able to lob that ball up to you, you now have an open lane towards the basket. Now, this next one, when you're setting a screen, there's a reason why in guys basketball and men's basketball, they always say to screen guarding your crotch. And the reason is back in the day, there was a lot of defenders who would be seeing that screen ahead of time, coming up, knocking you in the crotch, and being able to get around you. Now, that still exists to this day, not as prevalent as it did 40, 50 years ago. However, I've been there. I've set screens for players when I was playing in high school and college basketball, and even when I went down to the league in the States, I would set a screen, and every once in a while someone tries to knock them, and it hurts like hell. So make sure when you're setting the screen, you're covering your areas and making sure that if they do try and knock that area, you scream and say, "You asshole," or something, because it hurts. Now, on the other side of things, if players are doing these moves to you, what you need to do is go to the referee and say, "Hey, dude," like, first off, don't be screaming at him, cursing him out, saying you're like blind as hell. What you have to do is go to the referee and say, "I just want to let you know this player is doing this. Watch out for it, because if he does it again, I hope that you get to see it." Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another twice a day basketball video.